Well, this is our Ford F250 6-liter Power Stroke, and we love this truck. We travel all over the United States pulling our RV, so we know how important it is to have a good suspension. Now, when we purchased it, everything was stock, and we've put a whole bunch of upgrades on it. And today, I'm gonna be doing a suspension upgrade, and I'm really excited about it. So while we were in Minnesota and I was working my seasonal job there, I went ahead and changed the shocks on the truck, and while I was underneath there, I saw just how bad our factory OEM bump stops were and knew we had to change those out. These are really dry rotted and in really bad shape, and they're not going to help us at all. Since we are full-time RVers, we wanted to upgrade, so we went with the Timbren Suspension Enhancement System, the SES, and that's what we're going to be installing right here on the rear of the truck today. So let's get the box opened up and I'll show you what comes with it. Timbren sticker, welcome to the family card, and some instructions and parts list. So first thing you get is 2 mounting brackets to mount to your frame. You get these rubber spacers. Now you may or may not need these, it just depends on your vehicle. You get some hardware for mounting these, and you get the Aeon springs. Now these are 6,000 pound capacity, and you get free shipping with Timbren in the USA, and you also get a 100-day money-back guarantee if you don't like them. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and put the Timbrens together, and then when I go under the truck to take the stock bump stops off, I can go ahead and just mount these while I'm down there. So I already know, I took a measurement, and we do not need to use the spacers. Now they recommend that you have a 1/2 inch to 1.5 inch distance between the bottom of the Timbren SES to where it makes contact with your axle. A little tip for you, if you just take a tape measure and go down there and measure the distance from your frame to the bump stop where it rests against the axle, then you know what your distance is. Then if you just take a measurement of the Timbren distance, you'll know whether or not you need to use the spacer. So I already know we do not need these from taking a measurement. I'll also add, they give you 2 different length bolts. One is if you use the spacer, it's a 1/2 inch longer, and one is a 1/2 inch shorter if you're not using the spacer. So we're going to use these that are shorter because we are not going to use the spacer. So the easiest way to install this is go ahead and put your lock washer on the bolt while it is in your socket and just feed it up through the bottom, just like that. And then you can mount the bracket just like so. All right, there's one. So now we're going to go onto the truck, take off the old bump stops, and take the hardware down with us. Now to give yourself extra room under the truck, you're going to want to put a jack under the back and lift this up. So I'm just going to put it right under the hitch and raise the truck up, and that'll give me some more headroom. I'm not lifting it up high enough to where the rear tires are off the ground. They're still going to be on the ground. I'm just getting the frame up off of the axle to give me some room. So right now I'm taking off the factory bump stop. Now I did come out here a day ago and hit it with some PB Blaster, and then I hit it again this morning and it broke free really easy, but there is some rust and dirt on the bolt itself, so yeah, I'm gonna have to hold on to this with the other hand. That's gonna be the problem. But you can see it's falling apart.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's in pretty bad shape. Well, I'm gonna either have to cut this off or I'm gonna have to grab a pair of channel locks. All right, so the Timbren install is easy. It's taking off your rusted 20-year-old bump stops that are factory. I had to go get a pair of channel locks. Oh yeah, that's gonna help. Okay, so that's all I needed was a pair of channel locks. Actually putting the Aeons on, I think, is gonna be super quick and easy. Getting this off was just a pain. These channel locks did the trick. All right, it's off. So we'll just feed this nut down through. So just start this by hand. It's done. All right.
Oh my goodness.
All right, first one's done. As you can see, putting the Timbren Aeon spring on was really easy. Taking off the factory bump stop was the problem. So when we lower it down, we should have a minimum of a 1/2 inch gap in here, about a finger width. We are currently boondocking in Florida, so I do have a bunch of stuff in the back of the truck, added weight. So when I lower this down, it may be closer than a 1/2 inch, but that's only because I have a bunch of weight already in the back of the truck. So now let's move over to the other side. Hi. Good times under the truck. This is how you stay fit. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the difference between the factory OEM bump stop and the Timbren SES Aeon. So right about there is where that would have been mounted. So as you can see, it's giving you double the distance of coverage. So what's going to happen is when we put a load on the truck, this is going to come down and make contact and help support the back of the truck. So it's going to help with side-to-side roll. It's going to help with handling because it's not going to allow there to be a ton of squat, which lifts your front tires off of the road, so you have better steering. So I'm really excited to put these to the test and see how they work out. But first we got to get them installed. So let's finish the job. Time for the second one. So it's time to get onto the truck. Here we go. That's it. So the hardest part of this whole job was taking off the original OEM bump stops. Putting on these Timbren Aeons was super easy. That was the easiest and fastest install I've ever done on any of the parts on this truck. So if you want to pick some of these up for your truck, all you have to do is go to timbren.com and enter in the make, model of your vehicle, and it will pull up everything that matches your equipment. It's that easy. Hardest part of this install is crawling out from under the truck. When you're old.